Well, welcome back, everyone, to the 90th episode of the Tundra Cast. And just past week, just last week, we passed the 3-year anniversary of this channel, which means we're getting old, which is sad, isn't it, Rossi, who's joining me here today again?
We're,
And yeah, so last month we did the first month recap of the NHL season, a new idea that we decided to do to, make more podcasts for the year because the last few years we've kind of been lacking for in-season content, and we're gonna do it again right here. November has came and went, and we're just gonna review some of the biggest stuff that has happened in our opinion.
ooh,
So,
I just thought of something fun.
oh,
You know how this is just totally off topic, but you know how for my cell block series, every single episode is tied to a song.
yeah,
We could have
I
called
know.
this "November Has Come" by the Gorillas.
Yeah, could
Yeah,
have.
that would have been cool.
All
Uh,
right.
but
So
first
our
of all,
first,
speaking of the Nashville Predators,
to go Nashville. I'll let you go ahead and take this one.
well, Cody Glass came back for one. First we'll talk about injuries. Okay, so Cody Glass came back. He came back for one game, scored a point, and then immediately got his head taken off. Novak got hurt, and then Carrier got dirty hit in the Wild game, so he's out. So we're down three very important players right now. As you can see, Nashville in October was 4-5. Nashville started out um November terrible. Like, hold on. I'm trying to pull it up exactly, but they started off November only winning one game. So they were, what was it? They beat Edmonton. They
How
were
could?
they
Why
were
would you bring
one
up
in
that game?
they were 1-5 to start off November. And it
Hmm.
was just looking so bad. We were behind Chicago in the standings. Um, it was really bad. And then the Predators went on a 6 game winning streak, and then we all know what happened. They lost to John Hines. The man will continue to make me suffer and make me upset. But let's talk about Nashville's 6 game winning streak and what their outlook sort of looks like. And Shay, let's sort of talk about a player that we talked about in October, who, unlike a lot of the players we talked about in October, did turn around and started going off, and that's Filip Forsberg.
Yeah, I noticed that, because like Forsberg had a really slow start, and I I'm on Hockey DB right now. 27 points in 23 games. He has 12 goals. He's on pace for around a 40 goal year, which he hasn't done, I believe, since 21-22. I think last year was a bit of an injury riddled year for Forsberg, but like yeah, he's on pace for his second 40 goal year, which is good for Nashville. If they want to make the playoffs, Forsberg has to be at an elite level. Roman Yossi, as always, is at a Norris level, and they need UC Saros to be at his typical self, but he isn't. And I
Yeah,
do think
well,
that's a big reason why Nashville really is, I wouldn't say struggling, but is
they're not.
mediocre right now.
We're not where we should be. I'll
Yeah.
say. I think that a lot of these games, and I'm not trying to extrapolate and be like, oh, well, we should be here. But there's a lot of losses I can look at on the Predators, like, games and be like, we shouldn't have lost this one. We shouldn't have lost this one. Blah blah blah. And before we get into more on Saros's, I've got it pulled up right here. In October, 9 games played. Forsberg had 8 points, but only one of those were goals. And you and I both said that he was going to turn that around. In
Yep.
13 games in November, he scored 11. He went absolutely off. I feel like more of that, more of the team just started clicking because that was something we also talked about where I said I felt like there was really only three players contributing offensively: Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Novak. And now Yossi, Nyquist, Evangelista, Sissons, Sherwood, hell, even Cole Smith. And you guys know my history with him. Cole Smith has been contributing. We all know what Trennan did, especially in that game against Colorado. That game was wild.
The one where you scored 2 goals in like the last 30
Yeah,
seconds.
that game was so crazy. I was listening to that game and I was so hype I accidentally woke up my sister. It was like I was going crazy. You know, even more young guys have come up. Spencer Stasny has come up and started to help. Um, but yeah, but you know, UC Saros is not himself. Um, kind of something to look at is just today. I know like this isn't November. This is currently December, but we lost to New York, and it just shows that they put Lankin in net, and that might show you something that they're going with Lankin in against a what you might perceive to be a harder team, or they're just trying to give Saros a break. Who knows? Now, personally, I mean, you can see the stats on your screen. He's 8-10 with a 317 goals against average, 895 save percentage, and his goals saved above expected, -8, which is second worst in the NHL. Um, that's not good. Simple. It's
Simple as that. Yeah.
it's terrible for Saros, and it's terrible for just what I think is should be the NHL standard. Um, I think he'll bounce back. I don't see him staying like this, but maybe it's just an off year, but we can't afford that as a team.
Yeah.
And
No, I agree. Yeah.
yeah, and I'll say this: Saros, you can't like. I know he's not listening, but Saros, you can't afford that when there's a Russian in the AHL, you know, bench pressing the net right now, like he likes to do after he wins. And I'll say this: the special teams, holy shit, they're bad. What? Like, this was supposed
Looks
to be good.
21st in both.
It was
I
it,
mean, your PK improved.
our PK
Yeah.
improved, but still, it's not good. Like this was supposed to be very good. I mean,
I mean, yeah, Ryan O'Reilly, a Selkie candidate. Luke Shen, who's supposed to be a pretty good penalty killer. You want to talk about Luke Shen? This is a perfect way to tie into Luke Shen.
um, everything I have seen, everything I've seen about Luke Shen in terms of data, in terms of this so far, I get it. He's not played very many games for Nashville, but here's the thing: when you have Spencer Stasny, he got sent down. Mark Del Gaizo, he got sent down. I know that you lost Carrier just now, but still, why were we running a seven-man defensive pairing and just benching Liam Foudy? Like, why was that happening? It's been proven, it's shown in games that he's played that Luke Shen is not fast enough to be in Brunette's system. He's literally been part, like, the past few goals that were very costly to games that we had played in, and like in that Minnesota Wild game, in the I believe also in the Rangers game, and I also think that just in even in wins, right? He was in some games where he was a part of plays that cost us goals, and that's just not what you need, especially when you have Spencer Stasny. Spencer Stasny's been very good, and I get it. We just signed Luke Shen, but you cannot have a player costing you. Like, this is something you need to do. Like, I don't know if a team wants him, but you need to figure out a way to just. If you don't want to get rid of him, he needs to catch up because the team can't keep struggling like this. And if he's a part of the struggling, then he needs to go.
All right, is that it?
That's it that I have to say about Luke Shen. He's just not been good. And I'll say this simply: if Nashville wants to start winning, and they need to start winning, I mean, I think right now they're only 3 points out of the wild card. You know,
Yeah.
they are way better. They're looking way better now than they were our last video about October. And they're definitely looking way better now than they were before their 6 game win streak. So they need to get back in their winning ways again. Obviously, I'm not expecting another giant ass win streak, right? I would love for that to happen because that would be very good for us, but I'm not expecting it to happen. But Nashville needs to just get back to being consistent. Saros needs to start getting consistent. Just more consistency from this team is what you need to see. And I think they have that in them, to be honest.
Yeah. For sure.
So
All
that
right.
next.
My team, the Oilers, who have actually, I mean, last time we talked about this team, it was the day before they were going to play San Jose. And you remember what I said in that podcast? I said they're going to lose to San Jose. Uh,
I,
they,
I,
they
I,
lost to San Jose. I called it. I mean, I know my team
I,
inside and out.
yeah, that's like when I knew that we were gonna lose to John Hines. I was like, it's just
It's
gonna
like,
happen.
fuck, it's going to happen. And, they beat Seattle the next day. Jay Woodcroft still got fired. In comes Chris Knobloch. And since Chris Knobloch has came in, he is 6-3-0. And those three losses, one of them was against Tampa Bay, where Stuart Skinner shit the bed. We outplayed Tampa to death. Skinner shit the bed. The other two losses, one was against Carolina, where they just got smoked, and then they played a pretty good game against Florida, where they lost. But no, Knobloch has been decent since coming in. When we talked about the Oilers, Connor McDavid was like barely under point per game or just about point per game. Since then, he's really turned it on. In his last, what I think, 7 games, he has 17 points, which is
That's fucking. That's like when
it's
you. That's just when you. That's like when you do a be a pro mode in
yeah,
NHL.
yeah, I know. 17 points his last 7 games. I think he was like 98th in scoring whenever we're talking about him back in the start of November. And now he's like top 10 already. He's gonna win the
He's
Art Ross. He's gonna win the Art Ross again. He just
he
gave
is
everyone a head
currently
start.
he's currently tied for 7th in points.
Yeah, and he's gonna catch up to Kucherov pretty fast
Bro,
because
okay,
Tampa Bay is not good. You know what? I think we should talk about. We don't have a Tampa Bay slide in here, but we're probably gonna talk about Tampa Bay too. I feel
yeah,
like.
but can we talk about this real quick? And this is heavily off topic. NHL, please just change Artemi Panarin's picture. I hate looking at his egghead.
Bald.
I hate looking at it. It looks so weird. It's so weird looking. He looks so depressed. Like what the fuck?
I think he shaved it off because he said like it's a playoff curse or whatever. Anyways, back to the freaking Oilers. Evan Bouchard is point per game right now. He's making 3.9 million for the next 2 years. What a contract, first of all, and secondly, uh, he low key might win the Norris. If he doesn't win it, he'll be nominated for it. But what a year so far for Evan Bouchard. I freaking love him. I don't give a fuck what the haters say. Sure, does he have defensive deficiencies? Yeah, he does. But you know who else did? Eric Carlson in his prime. But did that stop Carlson from being a Norris candidate? No. Anyways, back to the Oilers again. They're 7-3 since their loss to San Jose, and they're now, well, when I wrote this, they were 5 points back, but they're now 6 points back with the Arizona Coyotes win, and that's good. They're slowly making progress. Um, they have a 6 day break. Well, I mean, now it's a 3 day break. They play on December the 6th, but they don't play for a while, so they're gonna slide down the standings a little bit more, but they're gonna have those games in hand. And no, the team just looks rejuvenated, Draisaitl looks like his former self. The power play looks great again. The power play was looking so off to start the season, and it's been as electric as ever. Zach Hyman is over point per game. Evander Kane, 11 goals in 22 games, 20 points, which kind of shocks me
Yeah, but
because it,
oh,
it shocks me because he had that huge wrist injury last year with the when Patrick Maroon stepped on his hand with the skate blade. So I thought that would really impact his game. It did last season, And at the start of this season, it really did look like Kane was cooked, but he's been great ever since the Heritage Classic. Nugent Hawkins, as always, has been solid. Nurse, I mean, I think people know what Nurse is at this point. He's a very
Trash.
he's a low end first pair defenseman. He makes too much money. So be it. Ekholm was injured to start the year. He looks healthy. He looks fucking awesome. Like always, I love him so much. Thanks Nashville.
I hate
Um,
my life.
and underrated guy I'm going to shout out here, James Hamlin, 3 points in 12 games, hometown kid. So glad to see him do well. That first goal, his first NHL goal was so emotional when he scored in Tampa and, thanked his mother who's in heaven right now. That was awesome to see. And, you know, if there's one thing about Edmonton that we still need to talk about, it's the fucking goaltending.
No, no, no,
Because
wait. You're forgetting the true goat of Edmonton right now, Connor Brown.
yeah, I one assist in 16 games, baby.
He's getting paid to skate.
He's getting paid to do cardio. That's what he's getting to.
I wish I
Um,
could get paid to do cardio.
Edmonton still has a goalie problem. Stuart Skinner has been good recently. He had a pretty shit game against the Carolina Hurricanes last week, but he's been good. He's up to 316 goals against average, which is way better than where it was a few weeks ago. 881 save percentage. You want to get around to the 900s. That's all Edmonton needs. If you get 900 goaltending, if you're the Oilers, you're probably gonna win the game. Jack Campbell still has only played 5 games, which is weird. It feels like he's played more than that, but I guess not. Um, he just let in 4 goals today in the AHL, so that's awesome. Uh,
Yo.
there's been rumors about Elvis Merzlikins coming to Edmonton, which if that were to happen, I would make a trade video on it. If it were to happen, I would say my thoughts then.
There were
And
there were rumors that you were getting Saros, and then there were rumors that you were getting fucking
Montembeau,
Askarov.
yeah, then Montembeau.
Yeah, it's just say Edmonton's tied to every goalie in the league.
It's like next week we're gonna hear Edmonton is in on John Gibson. Like, okay. But no, the Oilers have been good, which makes me happy. They're still 3 games below 500, so there's still a lot of work to be done. Once again, they're only 6 points out of the playoff spot, but they're slowly becoming the team that everyone expected them to be. And by game 41, if they're 500 or a bit above 500 by game 41, I think I'll be happy with that because then they'll probably make the playoffs. But they have to have a good month here in December. Ideally, you want them to win at least 8 out of the 12 games, but we'll see. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say about Edmonton. I'm a lot more optimistic than I was last time. Last time I went on a full on rant. I was so
Yeah,
depressed.
honestly, you and I, we had the same feelings in October, and now we have the same feelings in November, and our teams are just kind of did the same thing, where both of our teams are in much better spots.
Yeah,
And there's obvious flaws and there's obvious improvements, but I think that it's all. And obviously, just to everybody watching who watched last video and then this one, we're not just gonna put our two teams in every video like this.
no,
We wanted, or at least I wanted to cover Edmonton and Nashville again, and I wanted to revisit some other ones that were still relevant, and I wanted to do Edmonton and Nashville because they made such a dramatic switch.
yeah,
Now, the only way Edmonton and Nashville will be in next month's video is if they're worth talking about.
yeah. Like if Edmonton wins like every single game in December, then you gotta be like, oh, they're the hottest team in the league. We have to talk about them. And same
Yeah,
thing goes for Nashville, but chances are we won't talk about them.
unless or another way is if they win like one game in December, that would also be a reason to talk
I would be
about it.
depressed.
If that happens, I think our mental states will collapse.
I'd be like, I'm fucking done.
It would be
All all right,
next.
next. So now we're on to Tampa Bay. Um, I don't get it. Like they're 10, 10, and 5 somehow. Kucherov is like is playing unbelievable right now. 25 games, he has 40 points. Points been awesome. Stamkos looks as good as ever, and they're shit. Like Vasilevisky just had hip surgery. I get why he's struggling. Like, what the hell is up with Tampa? They lost 8-1 today against Dallas.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Why was Jonas Johansson good at the start and why is he not now? What is happening? Why is this league weird this year so far?
I mean, hockey is the most unpredictable sport. But I dude, I like how is Tampa this bad? Like, there's no way. Like, it's not even that they're bad.
They're
Like I said,
.500.
I know, but like, look at Kucherov. How do you have 40 points in 25 games and you're that mid? That's my argument. Like, how are they so mid? Like it's not even like they have a bad team. Like, they have Nick Paul. They got Easy Mon. They have I was gonna say Ross Colton. I forgot he got traded. I mean, like, they have Sergachev. They still got Victor Hedman. You know, like, sure, it's not a deep team. It's not the same Tampa Bay even from like 2 years ago when they went to the Cup final against the Avalanche. But like, what happened here? Like, truly, what happened here, man? The Toronto just like the Toronto break Tampa Bay?
Everything that we're talking about being bad so far this season is just gonna turn around and we're gonna look like fools and blah 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 blah. It's like really, and so I think this is gonna what if they turn around, what is gonna happen to the like what do they need
What's
to
your point here? You keep stuttering.
I keep stuttering, my bad. What do they need to turn around?
I don't know. I mean, like, you look at their defense though. Like, I forgot. Sorry, I also forgot about Eric Chernak. Like, they're not a bad team. They're not. And like, I think Connor Sherry's out of an injury. Sure, that might hurt your depth scoring, but like, they still got guys like Tanner Jeannot there. They got Austin Watson. Wow, a lot of Nashville Predators.
What the
Uh,
is
like,
making me sad.
Barry Bouet is good. Glendenning's a good fourth liner. Like, I don't like. I honestly don't. I is it? I think it's just the goaltending, isn't it?
But
Like, John Cooper's still a hell of a good coach. Also, do not check Darren Radish's picture.
why?
Just don't. But I don't
No,
know. I don't know why this team sucks. I know we're saying the same point over and over again for Tampa Bay, but it's just like they they shouldn't be mid. When you have a top three winger in the league.
now you're making me look up this guy's picture.
Okay, well, you can look up his picture while I talk.
He better not be bald.
That's why I told you not to look him up.
No, I don't like bald people. I get PTSD flashbacks whenever I see a bald guy because no. Wait, both him and Panarin's heads. Why are they like off to the side and slanted? Stop.
And we gotta talk about Vasilevsky here too. Like, listen, I know he's coming off hip surgery. He didn't even participate in training camp because he was injured, bro. Like, dude, he just doesn't look like his old self right now.
No, I would say him and Saros are pretty even like that. Like they don't look right.
Yeah, and with Vasilevsky, we've seen hip injuries and absolutely end careers. It ended Price's career. It ended Tuukka Rask's career. I think it ended Ben Bishop's. I don't know if his was a hip injury or
It,
if his has to do with his knee.
I think wasn't Bishop more of a like a more of hip and like head injuries.
I think so. I think same thing with Price. Price is like hip and knee, I think. But still, goaltenders historically get a lot of hip injuries, but that's when they're older. Vasi got it at age 29. So if he like, I know it's only 4 games, but if he doesn't rebound, Tampa's not making the playoffs, and I think you have to worry about the future of Andrei Vasilevsky's career. And without
Oh
Vasi, this team goes nowhere.
yeah, and they don't have a goalie. Like
Besides Jonas Johansson, no.
No. Like I mean, like they don't have a goalie of the future. Like Nashville,
I
they
they
have
they have Hugo Alnefeld, but like is he gonna be a starter? I checked Hugo Alnefeld. He's played one game in the NHL, 9 goals against average,
W
save percentage of 700.
W.
Okay, there's no way that's a full game.
Look at the minutes played.
Okay, let me check. 20 minutes played. Okay, that makes sense.
W.
Okay, I got
But
scared there for a second.
60. But here's the thing, like they like okay, so like other teams that have struggling goalies right now, Nashville per se, you could say that like even if Saros never bounces back and Saros just for some reason is done, you know, they have Askarov coming up. I besides Alnefeld, and to be honest, I don't really trust Alnefeld because
No, I don't.
you know, that
I think they use assets. You're gonna hate me for saying this. They use assets to acquire Askarov.
huh? If Nashville's smart, we use assets
No,
to
no, no.
acquire.
I said Tampa's smart. If
Oh,
Tampa's
if
smart,
Tampa's smart, they use.
they go and get out. They get Askarov insurance just for insurance if
Yeah,
Vasi
to
is
be
actually
honest,
cooked.
no, I agree with you. I mean, there's been a lot of reports, and this is actually shocking because Barry Trotz has been so aggressive since he came here. But there are many reports stating that neither Saros nor uh, Askarov are on the market. Like, they're not even listening to trades for either of them. And honestly, I agree with that because goalies are the weirdest players in any sport. And I'm going to say this, they are somehow weirder than relieving pitchers in baseball. And that is almost impossible to believe because relief pitchers are incredibly weird.
Yeah,
But yeah, just Tampa Bay is
not
not
good.
good. But they're not
All right.
bad. They're mid.
Well, on the topic of not good, let's look at a few players who have been not good. And we'll be a bit quick here, just because like we have their stats here, and we can kind of like talk about each player for like a minute or so. Johnny Gaudreau, and I'm gonna lump in Gaudreau and Laine together because they're on the same team.
Okay.
Can Columbus just hire a coach that's not stupid? Like like why did you hire Pascal Vincent, who was Brad Larson's right hand man, who Brad Larson was John Tortorella's right hand man. You just hired Torts 3.0 just without the toxicity. Like what the fuck are you doing, Columbus? And not only that, you hired Pascal because you hired Mike Babcock in the first place. Maybe Columbus is just shit at evaluating coaches.
They don't understand.
Like, you go from Torts' right hand man, to fucking Babcock, who didn't even fucking make it a training camp.
he
And then
just
you
tried to
hire,
he just tried to perv on everybody. Yo,
and then
let me see
in
your
your fucking
pictures.
phone, let me see your pictures of your family. And then you hire Brad Larson's right hand man. Like, you thought that was smart, really? And like Columbus is so young too. Like they have Sillinger, they have Johnson, they have Marchenko, they have Fantilli, they have Chinakov, they have what's his name? I'm forgetting that one guy's name.
Juracek?
It's not Yurchek, it's someone else on the forward court. I'm forgetting.
Oh,
Um,
on the forward core.
I really hate blanking right now because I know my jacket
Yeah, this
size.
is what happens when I blank too. Is I start to get a frustrated that I'm blanking, and it makes me blank more.
Yeah. They have
Um,
like they have Dmitry Voronkov, who's like a fourth round pick in 2019. He's been playing unreal. There's so many young guys. There's so much offensive talent on that team being fucking wasted because Pascal Vincent is just a shit coach, just like Brad Larson. Their defense isn't even that bad. Wierenski is good. Severson's out of injury, but when he's back, he's good. Andrew Peak is a scratch because there's too many defensemen. Bachwis is fine. Jake Bean's decent. Yerchek is good. Like Provorov is whatever. And then like the only bad defenseman they have is Eric fucking Gabranson, who's still making $4 million for some reason. And
Dumb.
like it really isn't a bad team on paper whatsoever.
No,
And
like,
yet Laine and Gaudreau are struggling. Why is that? Johnny Gaudreau, who's usually an 80 to 90 point guy, is on pace for 40, like what, for under around 40 points. Patrik Laine just looks like lost out there. Like, what are you doing? And I saw some of the lines that Pascal Vincent was doing too. I think the second line at one point was something like Danforth, Olivier, yes, Matthew Olivier, and Johnny Gaudreau. That was their fucking second line.
bro, like, do you think that? Well, I don't think that Johnny Gaudreau would do this, but maybe Patrick Laine would do this. Do you think he's just like chilling and not trying to do shit because he wants to get his coach fired?
I don't know because I don't know if they even fire Vincent. They they just promoted him, but like
They
I,
forgot.
I,
They forgot his phone number to fire him.
and they also have Texier. Boone Jenner's been good. Like that's what I mean. Like all the guys they name on the forecourt, they're good players, and this
Yeah,
team sucks. And like, I mean, Jarmo Kekalainen might get fired for this. I mean, it's also his fault that he can't hire a good coach. Like, dude, like Jay Woodcroft's out there, Dean Evason's out there. I want to see what Dean Evason could do with this team, honestly. Because
yeah.
like
He was really good in Milwaukee.
I knew you were gonna make a Milwaukee because
I
because
have to because that's where I'm
oh,
watching them live.
I think the reason why he got hired in Minnesota is because of Paul Fenton, and Paul Fenton
Well,
was the
also,
GM in Nashville.
yeah, and also you got to remember that literally they take everything from Nashville and just say this is ours now.
This is ours now. But like, dude, Laine and Gaudreau, man, like I don't think Gaudreau goes anywhere. He's locked in there. But dude,
Nah.
at the deadline, Patrik Laine might go for cheap.
What the fuck is going on with
What?
Zegras?
Um, I don't know. New coach is there. I think he's been injured recently. Like he hasn't played in a while because he's been injured, I think. But I don't know. Missing training camp, man, with that contract holdout might have not been a good idea.
Yeah, I always think it's a bad idea to not do training camp because it's always important in my eyes. Like I
It
I
is
don't
important. It gets you up to speed. You play the preseason games. Like missing that entire camp can fuck with a player.
I don't want to.
It like back in in 2018 when the Nylander thing was going on when he signed until December 1st for his RFA. When he signed for the rest of the season, Nylander was fucking terrible because he missed training camp, he missed the preseason, and he didn't play a single game in the NHL that year until the start of December. And he had it was really bad. I'm gonna double check what it was right now, but I think it was 1 points in 59 games,
Yeah,
and it was 27 points in 54 games.
and to be honest, I'm not saying to players that are negotiating contracts. I'm not saying take less money than you're worth, or that you believe you're worth, just because you might end up not being as good if you miss out on training camp. Get the money you're worth, but also know that sometimes maybe if you just sign like a 1 year deal if it's that bad.
No, I agree, like a 1 year bridge, but I don't know. Maybe if Ziger stopped spending time with Dixie D'Amelio, then you would have fucking been ready for camp.
Where
I don't know.
wait, they were actually dating?
Yeah, I think that was true.
Bruh, that's
And
gross.
I
uh,
mean, like, we also got to talk about the new coach. Greg Conran comes in. They had a good start. I think they won like 6 in a row at one point. They're 10-14 right now. I mean, to be fair, I don't think any coach can help that team. I mean, it's I don't know what to think about the Ducks. Like they do have a very bright future, but I don't know. I
they
really
okay.
don't.
I'll 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 kind of put it to what I think it is. For what their roster is, where they are right now in the standings is fine.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's not bad. It's not like
But
great.
they've been like, there's no like they've been at the bottom of the league for like 5, 6 straight years now. At some point, you might want to see some improvement, not just constant ass.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, but they're about to lose. Aren't they about to lose their GM or something?
Is Paparik? Is he? What do you
Oh
mean?
no, not Pat Verbeek. Sorry, my bad.
Anyways, but yeah, I don't know. Zegers has just been bad. I mean, when he comes back, you would think he would be healthy enough to play and healthy enough to produce again. But like,
We'll see.
speaking about being healthy enough to play and healthy enough to produce, TJ Oshie, who's currently injured, 2 points in 17 games, man. What happened to TJ Sochi?
Like, how old is he?
He's 37 in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
And yeah, I am extending the O on old because he's friggin' old.
Dude, that entire team is old.
Yeah,
That fucking team is old as shit.
and they're somehow not even the oldest team in the
Is that
NHL.
Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's so funny. Good. Hate that team. Um,
Poor Nick.
man, like, dude, I mean, like, even like Oshie was struggling, right? And now with this injury that's gonna keep him out for a while. Like, if he comes back, like, dude, he might be worse.
Yeah, to be honest. What's
And like,
his
he has another year left on his contract after this season. 5.75 million cap. Like, dude, I mean, like, just on the topic of the caps, I mean, like, Backstrom's probably done. Has Pacioretty even played a game yet?
no?
I totally forgot that they signed Max Pacioretty.
I don't believe that they like. Let me look real quick, but I don't believe he did. He's played a game yet. Like
Dude, oh my god, that whole team is just made out of glass. Like
it's made
Ovechkin's
out of
fucking.
old men.
That Ovechkin's fucking like. Okay, I'm not gonna say washed, but he's old. Ovechkin's old.
He's
That's
old and he's not. Dude,
scoring.
score goals, dude. We need you to
Okay,
score goals. Ov.
okay. I mean, his PDO is like 0.96 right now. His on ice shooting percentage is 5%. That's not gonna last. I know I said that back in November. That's not gonna last.
No, it shouldn't last. He should start. It should find the back of
Like,
the net soon.
he's shooting 6.4%. Like, come on. Like, okay, I'll say this. I think what I say in November that he'll still hit 40 goals, that's not gonna happen. He needs 25 goals to hit 30 goals. There's 61 games left in the cap season. I think he hits 30 goals.
You know what? I think he could. I still think he'll hit 40.
35 goals in 61 games. That's tough.
It's
Especially like with the slow start and like father time, man. It catches up to you.
dude. I don't know. Like it's just it's just a constant though. Like he is always right there. Like no matter what, it'll turn on like a switch and he'll be Ovi again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But who knows?
We'll see. Um, next, we'll group the goalies in here together. Filip Gustavsson. I just want to say I knew he was a 1 year wonder. I don't know if I said on the podcast. It's not a shocker that he's playing bad. If I mean, it is a bit shocking he's playing this bad, but I'm not surprised he regressed. I mean, Fleury's fucking ass too. That the Minnesota team. Imagine he had an extra 15 million cap space. That's five $3 million players. That's five legit $3 million players that can help you out right now. But whatever, Bill Guerin, you can do you. Buy out Suter and Parise, like an idiot you are. And Vitek Vanacek, man, woof. That's single-handedly costing the Devils a playoff spot right now. They're who are seventh in the Metro. They need a goalie fast because Akira Schmidt hasn't been better either.
Who was their goalie last year?
It was Vanacek.
Has he just become that bad?
He's just been bad.
There's so many goalies that were just amazing last year. They're just
Bad.
bad this year.
You know what? I have a theory. I know we're dragging this podcast way too long. I think it's been 50 minutes already, so we'll hurry up a little bit. But how much do you want to bet that last year wasn't even Lindy Ruff? It was Andrew Brunette. Because as soon as Andrew Brunette leaves the Devils and joins the Nashville Predators, the Devils are all of a sudden a terrible defensive team, a terrible team. Is it a coincidence?
Maybe you might be right. I jeez that. By the way, to everybody watching, it is 1:51 a.m.
AM. Yeah, it's
CST.
still here.
CST. So both of us are very sleep deprived. I just got off a long shift, an 8-hour shift at work. Um, but Shay, that is very interesting. You and I should make that a video. Josh
Oh,
Anderson.
Josh Anderson sucks.
Yeah.
Just no goals. Like, how are you this bad? Okay, listen. Josh Anderson has everything you want in a player. He's fucking big. He's a good skater. He hits people. He can make nice plays. He can score. He has a good shot. And like, how are you bad, man? How are you so bad? He has 3 assists in 24 games. One of them came last night. So in November, he had 2 assists in the entire season. No goals.
What what's his PDO?
I'll check that while you can talk about Josh Anderson.
Honestly, to be honest about Josh Anderson, I haven't kept up with him a lot since he left Columbus. I know he had that one really good year with like
His
no, I'm
PDO,
what
no, his PDO is 1.01.
said
He sucks. He's terrible.
bro.
He's terrible.
But I remember when he first signed the contract, we were kind of clowning it.
No, it was a terrible contract the day it was signed because like he plays so physical. That's the type of deal that as a player ages, it's
It
gonna
gets
look
worse
bad.
and worse and worse.
And like he's not even that old right now. So like
No,
imagine when he does get into his 30s. Um Actually, how old is Josh Anderson right now?
I think he's
Oh, he's
27.
29.
Oh,
29.
I
Oh
thought he was
shit.
27. Holy shit.
Oh boy.
No, but to be honest, I haven't kept up with Josh Anderson. I last remember when he like had that bad deal. I remember him having 1 or 2 good years with Montreal.
He was good last year. He was
Yeah,
generally good.
and but the thing is like
He had 20 goals last year.
yeah, but is he?
He was good. He was good in Columbus too. I don't know how it fell off so quick. His last full year in Columbus, he had 27 goals, 50
I'm
points.
yeah. I'm looking at his stats like overall, and here's what I think. So
Injuries.
no, not injuries, but Josh Anderson shouldn't be looked at as a first line forward.
He's a third liner.
I mean, he's a second or third liner, to be honest. You know, to get what you want out of him, you need him to, he's depth, and that's fine. Like depth is good. Like to have him on your depth is amazing. But to expect first line production out of him, it's not good. You know,
It just sucks with that cap hit, man. If he was making like 3 million, I don't think anyone would be complaining. I mean, like, even for 3 million, 3 assists, you have to get better. Like, just come on, man, wake
yeah,
up. But if he was making 3 mil, I don't think anyone would have an issue with it. But 5.5, uh,
yeah,
that might be a deal that gets either bought out or traded with assets to like
yeah,
San Jose.
dude is trying to, dude, him and Connor Brown, they're getting paid to skate.
I really wonder about a Jack Campbell for Anderson swap. I really wonder about that.
Maybe.
Anyways, that's enough about players with shit starts. Sounds cool with players with good starts.
Now
Once
players
again,
on fire.
we'll go a bit faster here. We already talked about Jonathan Quick a bit when we were talking about the Kings. I mean,
How about this? The
fuck,
man is a brick wall again, and I was wrong about him.
I was wrong. I thought he was cooked.
I thought he was cooked. Let's just quick fire all the goalies. Charlie
I mean,
Lindgren.
I don't know why Charlie Wrinkler. I don't think this lasts. There's no way this lasts for
No way
Charlie
this
Wrinkler.
lasts. No way this lasts. I don't think Quick lasts either, to be honest.
No, not with. I mean, I think he'll still end up with like a 2.3 goals against average and maybe like a 918 save percentage, but not this fucking good.
Yeah.
Tristan Jarry scored a few days ago, and he's been actually pretty good. And you know what? I'm gonna argue that I think Jarry does last. Like
Yeah,
he's already played 18 games. Like I think Jarry ends up with around at the end of the year a 915 and a 2.5, which is actually really good considering goaltending today. So,
I don't know why Nick is so negative
and by the way, he has more goals than Josh Anderson.
on him. And
He
lastly,
had
for
a,
the goalies, Connor Ingram. I was right.
you were right. You called Connor Ingram being a
I
fucking star.
stay Nostradamus.
Well, okay, so what? You called the IFL extension on the dot. You called the Lawton one on the dot. You called Pekka Rinne winning the King Clancy. I swear there was another one.
There was been a we would have to go through like all of our content because there has been quite a few things that we actually had a list of everything on our old Discord server, which is sadly been
I I
deleted.
I I mentioned this before, and I'll say again. 6 months before the Devils got Meyer, I said the Devils would get Meyer at the deadline, and they got Meyer at the deadline.
Yeah, to be
And
fair, you were right, but I I am going to be honest. I hate that the meme of me calling everything is still going on
why do you
because
hate it?
it's now starting to feel like a pressure, like I need to keep being right.
Well, you better keep being right
I
then.
know it's like so I gotta keep finding ways to do this. But
Um, Hronke and Boeser, the two Canucks. Uh, good for Brock Boeser, first of all. The guy's been through a lot in his personal life. I'm happy to see him do well. Where the fuck did this come from, Filip Hronke?
he's playing with Quinn Hughes on
Yeah,
pairing, isn't he?
yeah, but like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Like Ekholm's playing with Bouchard. You don't see Ekholm point per game.
Filip Hronek's like highest scoring season for points before this was
Was 30.
38.
Well, 39, because 22-23 he had 38 with Detroit. He had 1 point with Vancouver.
Oh yeah,
So 39.
39. So and that
He's
was
gonna
in
smash it.
64 games. If he doesn't get 39 points, there's something going wrong.
What?
Like if he doesn't get 39 points this more than 39 points this year, something happened. Has had to happen to him.
I think he slows down. I think like
No, he
okay.
obviously slows down, but he'll like at least have 40 points.
I was gonna say he ends up around 45 to 50,
Yeah, I agree.
and like even then, I don't think next season 24-25 he comes anywhere close to that. I think he'll be a 35-point player like he usually is. Um, and like I said, good for Brock Besser and William Nylander had that huge point streak to start the year. It's ended now, but
He's the
hey,
he's the top point scorer on the Leafs.
he's a UFA at the end of the year. Money, money, money,
Bro,
money,
Toronto
money. Toronto,
Toronto's
another
gonna get
another
absolutely bent over this.
another 11 mil deal, baby. Let's get it.
Actually, let's bring this up, right? Let's just bring this up.
Sure.
Currently, Toronto. Oh my God, they have the least amount of cap space. They have $0 in cap space. With actually, they have 1 mil in cap space. 14 players of theirs have either no movement or no trade clauses.
Okay, well, I mean, like Domi and Bertuzzi are UFAs, so like those will go away.
But
Um,
still,
Also, can I just say something? Max Domi scored his first goal last night.
what?
22 games in. Yeah.
Holy gosh, we should have had him on slow starts.
No, I didn't even, dude. I didn't even realize until because like it's Hockey Night in Canada every Saturday, right? So
Yeah,
I was watching the Leafs game, and then Chris Cuthbert was like, "Max Domi's first of the year." I was like, "No way, that's fucking true." I checked NHL.com, and yeah, that was his first goal of the year. I had no idea he's been that bad.
dude, this is bad because listen to this. these are the players that have either no movement clauses or no trade clauses, right? Matthews, Tavares, Marner, uh, Nylander,
Yeah.
Bertuzzi and Domi are gone.
Why
David
does Comp have one? Why does David
Kampf,
Comp have one?
Yarncroke, um, Morgan
Who?
Riley, TJ Brody, Jake McCabe, and then obviously Muzzin. I'm not gonna count. Sorry, I accidentally
Matt
counted him before.
Murray doesn't
Murray
count.
Murray doesn't count, I guess, and I guess we won't count Klingberg either. But still,
Why would you give David Comp a fucking no trade clause? Like, are you an idiot? Is Trey Living actually an idiot? And he makes 2.4 million. He has 4 points this season.
bro, he
Like, I
got
know Comp's a good. I know he's a good penalty killer, but for 2.4,
he got that Walmart brand Colton Sissons contract.
I know, right? And like Yarncrow is doing what he usually is. He's a 15 to 20 goal scorer who gets
Bro,
35 points a year. That's what he fucking is.
I miss him on Nashville so much.
He's like the epitome of mid, bro. That's what
Yeah,
he is.
but
Like
he's
if you tell me who's the most mediocre player in the NHL, who's the player that's just good at passing, good at shooting, good at defense, but like that's it. He's not great at anything. He's just good at everything. That's fucking Kelly Yarncrow.
yeah, and that's why he's amazing.
Oh, who's a player that can play on the PK and power play center or each wing spot, first line, second line, third line, fourth line?
He's a multi-tool.
That's fucking Kelly Yarncrow. He just does everything.
He just
He's
does
not,
everything, but he doesn't excel more than everybody at anything. He's just good.
he's just mid.
Yeah,
He's just
he's mid in a good way.
yeah. Yeah, that's about it with players with hot starts. Um, the news section might take us a bit of a while. This might be a long podcast now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about Jarry scoring. I don't think we need to really touch on that.
Let's get the Zadorov trade out of the way real quick.
Zadorov scored a game-winning goal tonight for the Canucks against the Flames in Calgary.
Double.
I mean, I thought the Flames got robbed on that deal, man.
What was
Like, it was for a 5th-round pick this year and then 3rd-round pick next year.
what the what? That's such
Yeah.
a bad trade.
They got robbed. Oh, they got
Like,
fucked.
I know we clown on Zadorov on this podcast a lot, but
That's mostly Jake.
that is true. But still, that's such a bad deal. What the?
I thought he would have got a second at least, to be honest.
I know. What the?
Like, he's a very good third-pair defenseman. Like, he's
Yeah,
very
like,
good at his job, and
his
and all he got, like,
Calgary Lames, I guess. Calgary Lames.
like there's like really you couldn't get more than a 5th and a 3rd. Like, maybe the public trade request messes up his value a little bit, but like, really? That's all you got?
Honestly,
And like, and it's in the division, by the way. It's not like you're trading him out of the division. You're trading him within your own division, within your own country. And usually that would jack up the price a bit more. But
they didn't. I don't think maybe Calgary's GM Trevelling didn't realize that he could.
Conroy, Trey
Oh,
Living's is in Toronto.
oh yeah, my bad. Sorry. Why does it feel
I
like?
mean, Conroy was Trey Living's right hand man for like 10 years. So
Yeah, sorry.
it is Trey Living 2.0.
You know, why he probably he probably forgot that he could like actually like feel out the trade market, and he was just like, I gotta get rid of him.
I mean, Calgary got fucked on the Tyler Toffoli trade too. They got, I think it was like Sharon Govich in like a 3rd.
Yeah, they've not been doing well with trades recently.
No, and no, I don't know what to say about the Zadorov trade. It's just that they got jobs. Patrik Kane signed in Detroit. It feels like Patrik Kane is doing the original 6 run where he tries to make every original 6 team.
Yeah, it's like Thanos with all the Infinity Stones. But
and like he went to New York to play with Panarin, and now he's going to Detroit to play with the Brinkat. You know what that means? That means next year he's going to Montreal to play with Kirby Dach. And then he goes to Toronto next year and plays with Max Domi if he
And
extends.
David Kampf.
Yes, and then he goes to Boston and play with nobody because that team's shit in a few years, hopefully. Um, but no, what do you think about Patrick Kane to Detroit?
I mean, it depends on what Patrick Kane is, to be honest.
Do you apparently he's fine. Apparently the hip surgery apparently has totally changed him in a good way. He says it's the best he's ever felt in years.
If that is true and he does produce at a good level, and it could net him a good contract next year, to be honest, and it is a prove it deal for Patrick Kane. And I know that's crazy to say that Patrick Kane is currently on a prove it deal, but this is a prove it deal for Patrick Kane, and Patrick Kane needs to take advantage of it.
I agree because like I know last year he went on a heater before the deadline, but like he looked cooked last year. He did, and like I know he had like a 90-point year in 21-22, but like I don't think he's a good 5v5 play driver anymore. Um, we'll see how this turns out. He has, like we said, he has chemistry with Artemi. No, it's not Artemi Panarin. Alex the Brain Cat there. It's a very that Red Wings team could be something special. This year, definitely in the future. But this year they look different. They actually look like they're gonna be good. And like you said, if Kane can light it up with the Brinkat and Larkin, he can set himself with a great payday either in Detroit or in free agency with another team. And I'm intrigued to see where this goes. I'm actually really interested to see what Kane does in Detroit.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll see. I think next.
Corey Perry.
Let's get the Tyson Berry thing out of the way.
Where do you think? I mean, we kind of talked about Barry. When we were talking about Nashville. Um, where do you think Barry goes?
Well,
I think.
let's first say this because I don't think you remember, but we weren't recording when we said that.
We didn't.
Yeah,
Okay,
no.
so
So Tyson Berry, I believe it was reported that it was actually a trade request, and Nashville has allowed him to seek a trade thing because Berry wants out, and it seems like that the whole thing is because he's not getting top 4 minutes, and that makes sense.
it's not a good fit because Barry is what he is. He's a power play specialist, but there's Roman Yossi there,
Yeah,
and like you
and
said, he's playing third pair. Fabro's above him. Carey is above him. It's just not a good fit there in Nashville.
no, it's not a good fit. You know, he was supposed to come in and help the power play. All he's done is hurt the power play. Like that second power play thing, he eventually got kicked out of it, and they started running five, five forwards on the second power play unit, and that started doing better. And that's when I think it started going away. And obviously, like I said earlier, Mark Delgazo's in the AHL. You got Spencer Stasny. You know, these guys who can come up, who want to come up and such. And so Barry's looking for a trade, and it's gonna happen. And I never thought he would be long for Nashville. I never saw him going past this season or even this past this trade deadline. So, yeah, I just think it's come to a head a bit before.
Yeah.
In
What do
terms
you
of in terms of where he goes, I don't know. I think it all depends, to be honest, on what Nashville wants in return. I think that Nashville should definitely try to package him with someone else.
I was
Like
thinking that you just get rid of him and you just get anything back. I don't think it really matters what
yeah,
Nashville gets.
it's either that or you try to. I mean, he's got obvious value. Maybe some team buys into it. You can
I
be
was
like,
thinking I was thinking about Washington, and I think because that's the worst power play in the league right now.
yeah,
It's
and
really fucking bad. And Barry can help that power play out, and
he can help Ovi.
that's my point. And John Carlson just really isn't working out there right now. I thought Sandine was gonna be fucking good because he was great at the end of the year last year. He only has 5 points through 20 games. He might get traded again this year. Barry to Washington would make some sense. Maybe you look at a team like maybe I was gonna say Montreal, but that doesn't even make sense. Do you look at Arizona? I mean, Arizona has Jersey. The more that I think about it, I think Washington makes the most sense.
Washington makes a lot of sense. I've seen a lot of memes about him getting traded to Arizona. Um,
I don't think Arizona makes sense. Jersey's
no,
been good there.
Arizona doesn't make sense. I could honestly see him going. Besides Washington,
Back to Edmonton.
I don't know, maybe, but like it all depends. I do think he'll get traded.
I think
Um,
he's gone before the month.
oh yeah,
Like
definitely.
because you're like you're scratching him. I think he's gone before. I just don't know who takes him. Like I
Maybe
honestly think
maybe
Washington.
Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's got a terrible power play.
I mean, wasn't that the point of Eric Carlson? Was that the point of Eric Carlson?
I don't know, but I
No,
mean,
I'm going Washington on this one.
I also think Washington. If it's not Washington, maybe it's Buffalo or Ottawa.
Maybe like I'm gonna throw us out here as a wild card. Vegas because Shea Theodore's out of an injury for a
That's
bit, and sure,
true.
I guess Petrangelo could do the power play, but I don't know. Vegas or Washington. That's one of my guesses.
Yeah. Next, let's
Dean
just
Everson.
keep
Want
going.
to talk about Everson, then Corey Perry?
Yeah, Perry. No, let's not because Perry can be bad. So we'll end on Everson. So Corey Perry terminated.
I mean, okay, he wasn't killed. You should have put contract terminated, not just Corey Perry
Well,
terminated. Just because it's
I
not
would
he died.
no, because in the whatever. I'm tired.
Um, first I want to say I hope Corey Perry resolves his alcohol problems and mental health struggles. We're all hoping Corey Perry pulls through in that aspect. But I really don't like again how the Hawks handled the situation. Because this really affected Connor Bedard with all the rumors going around that Corey Perry, obviously it's not. Yeah. We know
Okay,
everyone knows the story.
okay, come on. Okay, when it first came out, there was the joke that Corey Perry had banged someone's mom on the team
Because of the mom's trip. Yeah.
because of the mom's trip, and that was funny. And I wish that's what it was, and not him being drunk or anything. I mean, we all wish
Yeah.
that it was something funny and not something bad or sad.
Yeah.
And I will say this: everybody knows I do not like Corey Perry for what he did to Ryan Ellis. I've never liked Corey Perry. I never liked a lot of those players on those Ducks teams back in the day. But I'm hoping the best for him and everything. I will say this: um, you know, not only do I hope he gets better, but the Blackhawks did handle this terribly. And it's because when those rumors were going out, what did they do after they terminated him? They had their GM Kyle Davidson. He like came out crying like Corey Perry was holding his baby at gunpoint or something. Or it
Hmm.
was like, what is going
I
on with
don't
this?
think it should have just been Kyle Davidson. I feel like the CEO of the Blackhawks should have
No,
been
I don't
there.
think it was Davidson's decision to do that. I guess it might be for like proving that the organization is different. It's not the same organization that allowed the Kyle Beach situation to happen. But at the same
Yeah.
time, you messed up. This is a time where you needed, instead of having your coach come out emotional and stuff like that, you need to just state the facts. Because because what you did is you just let our minds wander more. Because whatever Corey Perry did was so bad to the point that the GM came out crying and stuff. Like, it just let the minds wander, and that's something you can't have happen.
No, they waited a week. They let the whole clown show that is social media spread fake rumors that affected the Bedard family pretty badly. And and no, they handled it terribly again. And we'll see what happens to Corey Perry. We hope he pulls through. I don't think his NHL career is over. I think whenever he's ready to come back, if it's this season, there will be interest for him, and why not?
Stay
He'll be able.
away from the Western Conference.
I want Perry on my team, man.
You do realize that the Predators start playing significantly better against teams he's on.
Well, guess what? Draisaitl is your daddy, so it doesn't matter.
He won't be because fucking Perry will bang his mom.
Like Perry had 9 points in 16 games this season. He's been good. He's
Yeah,
good for
actually,
veteran presence.
it
He'll be cheap. He's good for playoff runs. Like
yeah
we'll
it
probably
it
lose in the
does.
cup finals, but that's okay.
No, that's okay.
But no, but once again, the main thing is we hope Corey Perry gets better.
Okay, Dean Evanson fired. John Hines hired. You just
I
had
was
to end our win streak. Fuck this.
I don't agree. It's funny because Hines is not a good coach. We've seen that in New Jersey and we've seen that in Nashville. It's not Evanson's fault, man. Like he had a 639 win percentage there in Minnesota. He took the same team he has right now, the previous few years, to the playoffs, year after year after year. He made Ryan Hartman a 60-point guy. He turned Marcus Foligno one year into like a 50-point player. And he's doing this with 15 million dead cap space. The only reason why he got fired is because his roster sucks, which is because, once again, 15 million dead cap space. Jaron Spurgeon is injured, and their goalies can't save anything. That's not on Dean Evason whatsoever. That's on the GM. But as per usual, just like with how Jay Woodcroft got treated, the coach gets the boot of the door, which I don't agree with. And I think they downgraded in coaching.
Yeah, and I will say this. I will say this. I gave a lot of credit to John Hines at the end of his time with Nashville
You did,
because
yeah.
because because I was hating him a lot. I was hating on him a lot, and I'll admit that. And towards the end of his time with Nashville, when we were making that push, with all the injuries last year and all that, and we were still pushing, grinding, I gave so much respect to John Hines. I even said, man, maybe consider bringing him back. I'm glad we didn't. Andrew Burnett, even though we're struggling right now, I think that Andrew Burnett is the coach to go with, and I think he could lead us to something great eventually, hopefully. But John Hines, this is the thing. A lot of the players on Minnesota's team it's a team built for offensive high scoring games, I feel. John Hines is not that type of coach.
Yeah.
He won't be. His type of game will work with a team like Nashville because Nashville's a very defensive team. And here's the thing. Dean Evanson probably pulled a lot of good out of players like Frederick Gaudreau and other players that used to play in Milwaukee with Dean
Actually, that's
Evanson.
what Michael Russo wrote in his podcast, his athletic article, where
Really?
the reason why that Freddie Gaudreau excelled so well is because he had Dean Evason as his coach in Milwaukee. He thrived under Evason, and apparently, I think Freddie Gaudreau felt guilty. This is actually what Russo wrote.
Oh
Gaudreau
man.
felt, Gaudreau felt guilty that Evason was fired because he thought Gaudreau was basically blaming himself for his firing. And then the day after Evason got fired, the Wild had a game. I think Gaudreau scored the game-winning goal, and then I think him and Evason were texting back and forth, and Gaudreau's like, "Hey man, I miss you. I need you back as my coach." So, just a little story there about Gaudreau and Dean.
Oh man, I didn't even know that, and I think it's kind of cool that I came to sort of a similar conclusion. But you know, I make the joke a lot that the Wild sort of take all the Predators' former staff and players and jokes with Suter and Gaudreau and
Gaudreau.
Hartman, Evanson, Hines, you know, uh, all this. It's a fun joke, but when you have players who played in Milwaukee with Dean Evanson, you know, that's a bond that really helps them and such. And I think that you would need to deep. I don't think that Hines is the answer. I don't think that
No,
firing Evanson is the answer at all. Even if you brought in a good coach like Jay Woodcroft, who I think is a good coach, I don't
Yes.
think I don't think that it would help because I think Evanson is good there. I think they need to look at why the goaltending is so bad.
I'm gonna throw out another name out there that I excelled under Everson. Fiala.
Yeah, because he was somebody who played in
Like
Milwaukee with him.
like when he was under Boudreau, right? And when he was first year in Minnesota, Boudreau was still the coach. He had 7 points in 19 games. The year after, 54 and 64. Then Everson got hired. Fiala, 40 points in 50 games and 85 points in 82 games with Minnesota. Everson brought along Fiala's game. And that's, like you said, because he's familiar with Dean Everson. And I'm just looking at the Milwaukee roster right now. Holy shit, I did not know Alex Curie played under him in 16-17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, like I don't think it's Everson's fault.
No,
He'll
definitely
he'll
not.
get he'll get a job. I no doubt about it. He'll get a job by the start of next season.
Yeah.
I know he's a hard ass to play for. He's a very he teaches his team to focus on puck possession and physicality, and it just yeah
Look,
sucks.
he did the most he could do with that roster, I think.
Oh yeah, he did a good job of it. He did a dang good job of it, and I, like that's another reason I don't like the Hines hiring. Like I don't think he fits their team at all.
No, he doesn't. Like I was saying, the Minnesota's not a defensive grinding team. Like John Hines, that the game against the Predators where the Wild scored 6 goals, that is not a John Hines normal game. They do not. John Hines teams do not score very highly.
And also, I mean, this is also 2 games into Hines' career, so coaching adjustments and system adjustments probably have not been made yet. So when they have been made, I expect the Wild to suffer a little bit because I just don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah, and okay, when the Predators were getting rid of, well, not even before they were getting rid of Peter Laviolette, but when Dean Evanson, before he got hired to the Wild, I wanted him to go coach the Predators.
Yeah, I remember that.
And we all know that I also wanted the current Admirals coach, I'm blanking on his name because I'm very tired. I wanted him to be the head coach the the Predators. This is I've said it before and I'll say it again. The AHL is such a good place to look for a lot of these talents
Yeah, I agree.
in coaching because they know what they're doing and they learn a lot. I think that this will look I think that the standings will look very differently soon.
100%. I mean, we're going to be back here in a month talking about the biggest stories of the month. I know I repeated myself there because we're tired. It's almost 1:30 here. This
Bro,
is I know a lot of viewers are probably tuned out by now.
I'm like somewhat slurring my words. I'm
And you
repeating
sound
myself.
drunk.
My eyes are half open. Well, the thing is
Um,
I also take medication too at night.
mhm.
So
But yeah, we'll be back in a month. Uh, I'm really intrigued to see what's gonna happen here. We got a, hopefully a trade here, Tyson Berry, and yeah, we'll see what else happens. Ryan, Nick, and I will have a mock draft video in a few days. Me and Rossi might do a video on what was it again? Oh yeah,
um
Andrew Burnett and the Devils. Whatever.
yeah, well write that down. Write that down.
All right. So
We'll
thank you guys
also
for watching.
yeah,
Oh, okay. You go. You go. You go.
Shay and I will also have a few other videos that I want to work on with him.
Yeah.
So actually, if everything goes right, Shay and I will make at least four
Two.
videos,
Oh, four. Okay.
at least 4 videos this month together, not counting this one.
All right. I'm excited to see what happens. Anyway, guys, I swear this is the final time I'm ending this video. Thank you guys for watching. I know it's 90 minutes long. I don't care. We love you. Let's hit 200 subscribers by the end of the year. I doubt we do it, but let's just hope
It
we
would
do
be
it.
cool.
And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.